All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Andy Hemeseth. I am with North Phoenix. I've been a member of the ACC for about 11 years now. Married into it. I'm married to Brian Friend's daughter, Hillary. And so that's how I came to know the ACC here. And so I am definitely, as you say, FTW from the world. But I very much love the ACC. And so we put together a forum last year on outreach. In Phoenix, we have come to the place where our numbers have declined over the last 10 years. Since I entered this church, our numbers have probably been cut in half, which is unfortunate. I mean, hopefully I'm not the common denominator, but it's definitely over the last 10 years has gone down. And so we've been in a place now where we need to find out, how do we stop that from happening? And how do we repair all of those those numbers that we've lost? So how do we build that back up? And so that brings us to outreach. So that's where we are now. I like to say reach out, because before we can even outreach what we've even started, we need to reach out first. And I think what's beautiful about today, all the different presentations you'll see between Paraguay and North Phoenix and Tremont and Norton and all these churches, is there's an intentionality to reach out. Outreach doesn't just happen. We can't just sit back and expect people to flood into our church to want to know Jesus. We have to be intentional. And what's cool about it is we get to see how Paraguay's done it. We get to see how North Phoenix has done it, how Tremont and all these different environments have been able to be intentional to reach out. So we are reaching out today. So this is the purpose of today. Let us consider how we can spur one another toward love and good deeds. That's why we're here today. We need to encourage, to spur one another to growth, to be intentional on reaching out. Hebrews 10:24. So what is outreach? And I only have 27 minutes, but I'm a very discussion-based presenter. So answer the question when I say, what is outreach? What do you think of?
Going next door.
Going next door, great.
I was thinking of going out to the people where they're at.
Okay, meeting people where they're at, going out. Absolutely. Me plus one, absolutely. Good job. Great, yeah, absolutely. So that if you want to look at the definitions, to reach out is to really, in the dictionary, says to reach beyond, to exceed. We want to reach beyond our walls. We want to exceed the market that's right here in this church. We want to go outside, as you said. The act of providing services to any population that might not otherwise have access to those services. That would be small groups, right? To reach out to people who don't have access to go to church, to go outside these walls to provide services. That's what we're doing. I'm a salesman, and it's hard for me to look at my Christian life and look at my relationship with Jesus Christ and not want to sell that. That's been the best thing that's ever happened to my life, and it should be as well for you. See, we need to show people that. We need to bring that. I don't want to like diminish what Jesus has done for us as saying that he is a product, but at the same time, people need to know we have the cure for cancer. We have the cure for all these things that people deal with. We have the cure. We have joy. We have peace. We have all these things. We have the best product in the world, and people need to understand that, and we need to bring that to them. And so we provide that service. We provide that product, which is Jesus Christ. It's an activity of an organization that provides a service or advice to people in a community, especially those who cannot or unlikely to come to an office, a hospital, a church. This is what we're called to do. This is being intentional to bring it outside of our walls to these people. So what does the Bible say about outreach? You can answer the question. What does the Bible say about outreach?
Go and preach the gospel.
Absolutely. Preach the gospel. Make disciples. Everyone's familiar with the Great Commission, right? Matthew 28, it says, go and preach and teach them to observe all the things that I've commanded you. See, this is what we're familiar with. This is outreach, right? This is the product. This is what we're selling. This is what we're telling people, right? People are familiar with that. There's also Matthew 25, a couple chapters beforehand. And I'm just going to read it quickly. Then the king will say to those on his right hand, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger, you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger, or take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer and say to them, assuredly, as I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. See, this is our calling, not only to preach the gospel, but to provide for the needs of these people in our communities, in North Phoenix, in Tremont, in Paraguay, in West Akron, in Mansfield. This is what we're called to do, not only preach, but to provide for these people here. See, this is how I'm going to skip ahead because time just goes by so fast. But this is how I see it in my head here. We have two aspects of outreach. One is to preach the gospel, and one is to provide for the needs of others. Both are encapsulated in the idea of relationship, of building relationship. You guys have heard it been said, people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. Whether that's preaching the gospel or providing needs for your community, people want to know that you care for them. That's the idea here. And so in my head, this is how I split outreach up. There's definitely something to be said for Matthew 28. That is what we're called to do. That is the Great Commission. But there's a lot to also be said for Matthew 25. It says we are there to provide for the poor, for the hungry, for the naked, for the sick. And that's how we've taken on this outreach in the last couple of years in North Phoenix. So the question is, who should participate in outreach? We've read two chapters there. Who should participate? Everyone. Don't be scared. Everyone should participate. This is the intentionality. We are all called and we are all accountable and responsible, as Brother Gabby said, to be able to participate in outreach, whether you're preaching the gospel. Some people get scared, right? I can't preach the gospel. I don't know the word that well. I get mixed up. I don't know where the scriptures are. Okay, well then, what about providing for the needs of these people? What about financially providing? What about putting time and effort into investing in a relationship for people who have needs, who can't mow their grass, who can't buy groceries, who can't clothe their kids, who can't provide school needs for the school supplies for their kids? We can all do that. And so this is what we keep into account in outreach in North Phoenix. Why should we participate in outreach? Well, it's a simple question. Because God calls us to. Because that's who we are. We are Christians who love God, who love Jesus. And Jesus doesn't want us just to say we love Jesus. Jesus wants us to show that we love Jesus. And this is how we show that we love Jesus. By spreading his word through Matthew 28 and by providing for the needs of the people in Matthew 25. Because no one has seen God at any time. If we love one another, God abides in us, and his love has been perfected in us. See, God is love, and he wants us to show that love through those two aspects of outreach. So when should we participate? Long time ago. We should have done this a long time ago. North Phoenix should have done this a very long time ago before the numbers got cut in half. We need to do it now. The point is now. Behold, now is the time for salvation. Behold, now is the time to outreach. Behold, now is the time to be intentional. Now is the time to focus on outreach. Now is the time to focus on other people and not inside of our doors. We also need to focus inside of our doors. We need to disciple. We need to train. But we also need to focus on outreach. It's very important. So here's the big question. Why do churches, why are they hesitant to outreach? Some churches outreach, some don't. Some do it at a large scale, some not so much. Why are churches hesitant? Go ahead.
People are weird.
Those people are weird? Well, that's an opinion, but yeah. Selfish, okay. Stereotyped? Outside of the comfort zone? They'll change our ways. That's a very valid argument that even in North Phoenix that we deal with on a week-to-week basis, where people think, okay, if we bring people into this church, it's going to completely change our church. It's valid in a sense, okay? They're scared?
I don't want to be responsible.
I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to work. Not convicted to do so? Not totally convicted. Oh, okay, not totally convicted. How about just not knowing how? When in North Phoenix, we had to learn by error. We've done outreach for the last 4 or 5 years in certain things, and we've learned how to fail. We have learned how to fail. And by that, we have learned how to have some sort of success. Praise the Lord for that. So, what are some ideas here for outreach? Give me some ideas. When you think of outreach in the church, what are an idea? We heard one, small group. I'll say it. No one can say it. Here's some ideas. Church, community picnics. La Puente just did this last year. Certain churches do this where they invite people to come into their church. They just have an open picnic. Hey, we're barbecuing, we're having food, we're having games. Community picnics. The idea of outreach, again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, but you have to spread awareness. We've had people come into our church that have been in the neighborhood for 30 years, and they come in and they say, is this a new church? Are you kidding me? We've been here for 30 years just like you. Is this a new church? See, they don't even know that we're a church. They don't know what goes on. There's no awareness. We're just a building inside of a neighborhood, and there's no awareness. We have to bring awareness by doing this: church community picnics, barbecues, fish fry nights, street evangelism. I know it's scary, but it's definitely an avenue of outreach. Christmas caroling. I know you guys love to sing. I come from not a background of singing, but I know you guys love to sing. Christmas caroling. This is reaching outside of our walls here. Nursing home visitations. We have one in North Phoenix where Sister Adeline, she lives at a nursing home, and she comes to church every Sunday. But we go there every other month to sing songs, play the piano, and sing. Just reaching outside the walls, being intentional. And again, this is not about, hey, North Phoenix has got this figured out. Definitely not. But I was asked to present what North Phoenix is doing, and this is what we're doing. Food pantries. Just collecting food from your members and having a place, a closet, a room that's filled with food, and marketing that, making that aware to the people in the community. Community service, projects, landscaping, mowing yards, going door to door. What can I do for you? Church yard sales, homeless shelter volunteering, Friday night weekly events. These are huge. North Phoenix used to do this way back in the day before I was there. And I drove by Mansfield Fellowship Hall the other day. I'm like, wait. There's a separate building, like a total new location, like two separate locations, and this is a fellowship hall, and you have all this area, and you have all this resource. Use it. Not to call Mansfield out or anything like that, but use it. Use the resources that you have. And that would be like, basketball games, softball games, whatever it may be. Food, toy drives, donations, car washes, free car washes. We do it in our neighborhood where we just say, hey, free car washes, people come through and we just wash their car. And then some of them will come to church the next week. Back to school events. Well, I'll show you a slide about it. Providing for the school supplies. What time do I have? 11:45, right? Okay. Sorry, I talk super fast, but there's a lot to get through. 11:40. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, back to school events. I'll talk to that in a minute. Christmas toy giveaways, providing for the needs for kids for Christmas whose parents can't afford gifts. Vacation Bible School. Almost all of our churches do this, but to market it to the community, not just for internal purposes, to reach out, to bring kids into your church. And that's also where North Phoenix is at. We went from a Sunday school of 35 kids in the last 5 years to now 10. And a couple years ago to now, to a couple years ago, 10 kids. And 2 of those are mine and 2 are my nieces. And then the rest of it is like one family. And if that one family doesn't show up, we have like 4 or 5 kids for Sunday school. It's hard to watch my kids go to that. And that's also why we are where we are, so we can outreach, so we can bring kids in. VBS is a great way to do that. Rescue mission involvement. We preach at the rescue mission with guys who deal with similar backgrounds that I had in drug addiction and issues of that sort. Home groups, Bible studies, community choirs. This is something my wife is super passionate about. She loves music, and we started doing this last year. Resurrection Rhythms has to do with Easter choir, and Christmas Crew would be Christmas choir. So how do we start? That's the question. Well, you've heard all the ideas. How do we start? We just start. We just do it. We just be intentional to do something. That's what we do. So this is how we started. We broke up our church into different committees here: prayer, welcoming, mentoring, youth, music, outreach. And each one of these committees has someone over it, two people over it, that coordinate everything within that committee. So I'm in outreach with my sister-in-law, Kim. My wife is in music with Andrew Simmel. And so each group has someone who is intentional about doing these things, focusing on prayer, focusing on welcoming, music, youth, being intentional. They each have a leader. They have a mission statement. They have goals, objectives. This is like, it's sad to say, but this church is also a business. If we're looking to grow our church, if you're looking to grow a business, you have to be intentional. You have to be methodical. You have to put things in place. And that's where we start. That's where we started 5 years ago in North Phoenix. It also leads to accountability. You have people who are over in charge of something. They're accountable to what they say they're going to do. They're accountable to that position that they're in. And these people were voted in by our church. A dedicated team, which is very important. Okay, so again, it is like a business. You have to market it. You might have seen our logo up there 1,000 times already, but that's the point. We were in a neighborhood and no one even knew we were there because there was no awareness. There was no marketing. And so we developed a logo, a brand per se to show people that we're legit. We are legit. We're not just and there's something to be said for small groups in homes, but I love it very much. But we're not just a little group of people that you're just we're intentional. We're a business. We're methodical. We take care of our people like companies do, most companies. Website. So we have a website. You have to look credible. Look, there's 1,000 churches within Phoenix in and of itself. These people can go to any other church, and that's great because they get to know Jesus, and they don't necessarily need to come to our church to know Jesus. Definitely not. We want them to. I want my Sunday school to grow. I want our church, I want people to come in the doors and more people and to be happy and to have that healthy church. But you have to have a website. You have to have someone willing to manage it. You have to have an email. Hey, like, how do you reach out to a business if there's no website, if there's no email, if there's no phone number? You have to have these basic things. It's very basic, but we didn't have any of these. And that's why no one knew that our church was in the neighborhood. Social media, huge. You young guys, you young women, social media, this is huge. This is where all of our advertising goes through. Facebook, Instagram. So we've created pages. You have to make people aware. You have to be intentional. Again, materials, business cards. Hey, this is the church. This is the hours of service. This is my name. I do outreach. You have to show some sort of credibility and legitimacy, or people aren't going to walk through your doors. If you want to be intentional about growing your church, you have to do these things. You have to do it in the correct way. This is how we did it. I'm not saying there's other ways to do it, but there's an intentionality to it. So I'm going to go through a couple of things real quick. Phoenix Rescue Mission, this is where we preach on every other month. This is one of our outreach activities. It's a program people go to who have drug and alcohol addiction. They stay there for 12 to 16 months. And so every other month we get to go down there and we get to preach. And these guys are awesome. They're my type of people. They're hooting and hollering. They're rough around the edges. Those are my type of people. It's really fun. It's also something to be said for a lot of people in my church who don't know that background, who don't understand, and they come to these places and they're like, oh my, the passion and the love that you see from these drug addicts and these homeless people, it will blow your mind. Love it. Phoenix Rescue Mission is one thing that we do. Homeless bags, very easy to do. Every church can do this. Just put together a bag full of socks, beanie caps, water bottles, snacks, and then when you drive down the road and you see the homeless guy who's asking for $5 or whatever he's asking for, you give him a bag. In that bag, you have a business card. ACC of North Phoenix. Come to our church. We have a food pantry. We will help you out. We will teach you about Jesus. We will be there for you. We will provide for you. Come. Very easy to do. Homeless bags. Kitchen on the Street, just an organization that packs bags for kids at school who can't afford lunch, or parents who can't afford like meals on the weekends, so they pack bags. So we participate in that. Excuse me. This is the senior living that Sister Adeline goes to. So we show up, we stand, we play the piano, we sing songs, we get the word of Jesus through hymns to the people that live there. These are all simple things to do. It's just the matter of doing it. It really is. We do that 6 times a year, Christmas caroling. Okay, this is Christmas Crew. This is what we started this last year. So it's kind of like VBS, where we invite the community to come in for, let's see, 8 weeks, and for every week they practice for 2 hours. They have crafts, they have activities, and it's like VBS for 8 weeks. And again, we're a church, we're a Sunday school down to 10 people, and we had 44 that registered, and 72% in there who came not from our church, not from our church, because that's where we're forced to go, and that's what outreach is about, outside the church. We provide free lunch with them, in VBS format. We have small raffles. See, we got to try to make it fun. You get the kids, you get the parents, you get the families. Those families then turn to Jesus. They know Jesus. They love Jesus. They serve Jesus. And then you do it again and then again and again. And that's how you grow, and that's how you multiply. And so Christmas Crew, my wife loves it very much. They have performances. We had one at our outreach event, and then one on Sunday morning service. So Christmas Crew, we invite the community in for a choir. Here's the chance where you get, when a parent comes in 8 consecutive weeks to your church, that's what you're building relationship. When they keep coming back and you keep talking to them, how's your week and what are you struggling with? And those are the opportunities. That's what we're doing, is building relationship. Resurrection Rhythms, another choir. It's for Easter. We had 43 registered. Again, 74% of the people who came, not from our church, which to me, as having a small Sunday school and having children in it, is amazing. So they perform. They have 5 weeks of practice, again, VBS format, and then they performed on Palm Sunday. Vacation Bible School, huge. Last year we had 78. It's not about the numbers, but the numbers do tell us that people, there's a want, there's a need. Like even just being a parent, what do I do with my kid in the summer? We'll just sign them up for VBS and ship them off for 3 hours. Well, we'll take them. We love that. And so it's not about the numbers, but it also helps to show that there's a need, there's a want. The people are out there wanting and needing things. 78 registered, 91% not from our church. We have like Kona Ice, which is like an ice snow cone thing that comes. We have bounce houses for Tidal Wave Thursday, we call it. Small raffles. We have it all week long. You guys are familiar with VBS. Operation Toy Giveaway. We started this a few years ago, and basically we collect toys and presents to be able to give, and we have this huge event at our church. Last year we had about 750 people come to our church. Those 750 people, perhaps 500 have never stepped foot on our grounds before. So that we're showing awareness. We're showing that we are a church that not only gives presents, it's nice, and it costs money for sure. I think that event cost about $6,000 to put on. So it definitely costs money, but there are ways to do it. And the idea is to get people inside your church, get people to be familiar with your church so you can have those conversations, so you can build relationship. And so they get to come, they get to pick out a toy, and then we have all these games and refreshments outside, activities, and we do a couple raffles, and then we also have the Christmas choir sing a song. And so we spread the love of Jesus also through word and through song at that event. Just a couple pictures. I mean, this place was packed. I mean, if you've ever been to North Phoenix, I don't know if you can visualize 700 people, but it was packed right there, just packed. And some of these people that come to our church now are a direct result from some of these events. It's from spending time building relationship, and that's what it's about. We are very intentional on trying to grow our church. Back to school, it's similar to the Christmas one, but it's for back to school. So we pack bags filled with school supplies, and people can come and pick out a bag filled with school supplies, and they can stay with the gate for the games, the activities. We had about 450 people in our church last year. Refreshments, games, activities, raffles. We want to get people inside. And then once we get them inside and they keep coming back, then we can start building that relationship, and we can start telling them, this is what people ask us, why do you do this? We have a lot of Middle Eastern and Indians in our neighborhood, and they say, why do you do this? It's like, because we love Jesus, and this is what Jesus came to die for us, and we are grateful, and we love him, and he calls us to do these things to other people. This is the God we serve. And we get to have those conversations, and it sticks with them, and they come back. They don't always come back. That's a small percentage, but they come back, and it's a beautiful thing. And so this was, it's so hot in Arizona, as I'm sure you know. We do this in July, and people, you could see people just like sweating. But people are there waiting for these needs, these supplies. And while they're waiting out there, while we're finishing setting things up, we talk to them. Hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from the community. Have you ever been here? Oh no, I've never been here, or whatever. You have those conversations, and it's a wonderful thing. And so this is our. You can see in there with the air conditioning, it's packed. About 400 people who came to the back to school. It's so cool to participate in things like this. Like, this is what it's about. These people, some of them know Jesus, some of them don't. But see, that's what we're called to do, is to share Jesus with these people. Whether we do it through Matthew 28, or we do it Matthew 25, or we do it together. These are lives. These are lives. They may not hear Jesus the way that you can tell them who Jesus is through your experience. These are lives. These are our numbers for back to school. Our first year, 2021, we gave away 20 backpacks. We fought to give away 20 backpacks. See, it takes time. We jumped up to last year 310. This year we're going back down to 150 to manage it. There's some complaints. There's too many people. Whatever. We're going to do it a little bit different this year. You live and learn. But it takes time. We started with giving away 20 bags. So the idea is to reach out. Then the Lord said to Moses, reach out your hand and take it by the tail. And he reached out his hand, he caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has appeared to you. See, the idea is to take it by the tail, to grab hold of it, to do it, to be intentional. That's what outreach is about. We have this app now that I would, if you're interested in outreach, please talk to me any time today. But we have an app. It's called a Band app. People use it for all sorts of things, but we use it for outreach. And so we can connect with people in Norton. We can connect with people in Mansfield. We can talk. And it's like a social media thing where you can post and say, hey, we're doing VBS this year. Here's our theme. Do you have any ideas? And the other people across the country can say, oh, we did that theme 2 years ago. Do you need any supplies? Oh, let me tell you how we made this cute little idea or whatever. Or let me tell you how we ran this. Like, the idea is to work together. One thing I've learned in the ACC is that we are very good at doing our things within our church. But when it comes to the communication of what works successfully and what doesn't, it seems like there's not that much of a communication going on. And that's been very apparent to me because Tremont does their own thing. North Phoenix, we do our own thing. Mansfield does their own thing. But the idea is to be together, to learn from one another. And that's what that's what this day is all about. To learn what we're all doing and communicate and to grow together. It also helps with financial help. Look, some of these things cost money. It's nice when some churches, perhaps they have a lot of money and a small congregation or whatever, and they can help in that way. This is the idea. Look, at the end of the day, the ACC numbers have declined over the last 10 years, not just in North Phoenix. So we need to get those numbers up. And we do that together. North Phoenix, Mansfield, Tremont. We do it all together. And also just to encourage, to spur one another toward love and good deeds, to encourage one another. Look, I know you only gave away 20 backpacks this year. That's a good start. Look how we can do it. We can help you. You can go 50 next year. You can go 100 next year. Again, it's not about the numbers, but the idea of just encouragement. You can keep going. You can keep going. We need that, right? Because we have setbacks and disappointments. So encouragement. And so if you'd like to be a participant on the Band app, please let me know. I'd love to get you involved. I went over, did I go over time? I've done 1 minute left. All right. Sorry, no questions, but please talk to me anytime. Thank you all. Thank you.